Greetings, aliens. It is me, your one and only host, Miss Ella Sanchez of the Nadie Preguntó podcast, because truly nobody asked for this podcast whatsoever. I'm having a blast and I hope you are too. Friends, I do have to address the elephant in the room. Not like you guys care, but I was out of office last week due to a million reasons we're going to get into today. But I am not that happy with this podcast episode today. It's not my best. It's not my favorite. It's just more so I didn't want to miss a week. I know more people would be like, no, it's okay. Like, if you don't have anything, you don't have anything. It's like, no, girl. Consistency, unfortunately, is key. It really is the secret sauce that everybody talks about. But nonetheless, if you are returning, hi, hello, how are you? I hope you're doing well. I hope you are in good health. I hope that everything you've been working towards is coming to you soon, if not already on the way. However, if you are new here, well, hi, hello. I hope you're doing well. Welcome. I talk about a lot of nothing with the occasional something. So, y'all, we're just gonna get into today's episode as to why I was MIA last week and kind of the inspo for this episode. But nonetheless, I will be fidgeting with this lovely necklace slash anklet I found. I'm probably gonna use it as like a little bag charm. Everybody's doing bag charms these days. I haven't really been into it. It's not my thing, really. I feel like it's really hard to be like original with that stuff, but when people are original with it, I'm all for it. But nonetheless, y'all, I am going to see you guys in the next segment. I do apologize. It's been a very hectic week. And honestly, October to November, as of now, has been extremely hectic and busy. So I do forgive the lack of energy or just like overall the lack of enthusiasm. It's been very chaotic, but we're going to get into it. So I will be explaining in detail as if you care or asked. But nonetheless, I will see you guys in the next segment. And we're back, ladies and gents. So today's episode, you read today's title. It's going to be You're Your Own Person. Now, as we all know, I always do my handy dandy notes if I ever need it on Google Docs on my little iPad, ticky tack. But as you all know, I like to start off with inspo for every episode. Usually I like to get inspo from the week, whatever theme was for my week. But right now, I feel like I have to kind of just like describe what happened without actually being in deep detail, because this is family business that you don't care or asked about. And I'm not going to be one of those people, nor influencers or creators or creatives or artists that wants to put their entire business out there. That's never going to be me. And if it ever is, that means I am in a safe space to do so. However, not to sound morbid, but I say that, by the way, just like approved by family to talk about and whatnot. But anyways, I am titling this episode because the inspo, I don't know why I can't zoom in on this, but the Google Docs is being weird. But nonetheless, this past October, November has drained me in more ways than I can explain, y'all. I've been busy all this week, which is like honestly what I've always wanted. I've always wanted to be super booked and busy and doing things, but it does take a lot out of you. And it's just like obviously when you work hard and when you're trying to get your life in order and you're trying to get your life back and trying to find that spark you used to have for things, it's like quite honestly I haven't had that in a while. I'm gonna be really vulnerable in that I have lost myself quite heavily since a breakup I went through that I'm still yeah dealing with internally. Yeah, you would think it gets better. It does, just apparently not as quick for me as of now. So yeah, I feel very drained. I feel very tired. I feel like my ADHD is also trying to keep up too. So very grateful nonetheless, even if it is chaotic. Like I can't really complain. I can't really like be like, my life is horrible. Like, no, I wanted to have a busy life and a busy just being booked and busy, like on a serious level, like being booked and busy, and I have been, which is great, but I've been booked and busy with family, with obligations, with work stuff, which I will get into in another episode. But I am just kind of drained in that aspect. But one of the primary inspos for this episode and saying you're your own person is dealing with family is one of the most exhausting lessons, and nobody ever really prepares you for it when you become a real adult in the real world. And having to like basically parent your parents as a grown adult, nobody ever really prepared me for that, nor did I ever think it would ever happen. And it gets to a point where I have to sit with myself and be like, I don't really even feel comfortable being the parent of a parent. It's just like very foreign. It feels very weird. It feels um just not what I asked or signed up for. So having to deal with that this entire October and November has been very hard, to say the least. And I feel like also there's that conversation of like, when you meet people, like you, as you should, you need to get to know more people and their walk of life. Like, more you know people, the better it is to like gain worldview and knowledge. I feel like that's the best experience. Like, you can go to school all you want, but you'll never learn about like the real life experiences unless one, you're thrown into it, and two, you meet people that have been thrown into it. And I say this because nobody prepared me to be the parent of my parents. Um, and I wish I had known that to begin with. I wish that was somebody that could have told me that early on in life and would have prepared me for it. And then the day comes when you have to be a parent to your parents and you're like, I know we're adults now, but I didn't really ask. Like, I didn't sign up for this. Like, Lord, no. There's so many really million reasons why I don't want to have children, and that is one. So, um but I say this because when you meet people that are from different walks of life, and that's a great blessing to learn from those individuals, whether you agree with their ideals or not, or so on and so forth. I feel like it's so crucial only because you meet people that have gone through horrible things and they were thrown into adulthood at such a young ages. I know so many people like that, and it's unfair. It's like you're robbing yourself of like young adulthood, or what's it called? Maybe if you were a teenager, teenage years, you were just thrown into that. I have had some very little experience, but dealt with it nonetheless in my adolescence. And then also some people that were thrown into it from children, like from being kids. It's horrible. And I just feel like whatever age doesn't really matter when you have to end up parenting your parents. You can be 16 when it happens, you can be 13 when it happens, you can be 45 when it happens. I feel like nobody really prepares you for that stuff. But that was like the big lesson theme, I guess you can say, with my current sitch. And I had my therapist session Monday, I want to say. And I was just like, girl, it has been too chaotic. Like, I've had a lot of good wins this past October, November, like so many good news that I have not yet shared until everything is confirmed, obviously. But only good news are coming my way, and I couldn't be more excited, and I couldn't be more thrilled. And it's just like being drained from me. Like, I couldn't even celebrate like the big wins I've had recently that I can't really share just yet with myself, because just so much is happening, and I just felt like so emotionally drained. And Lord, it's something. But we're gonna get into it. And I did split this up in parts, and I don't know once again how long this episode is going to be. It might be really short. I might kind of just like keep it really short. I want to keep doing short form content. It's more like where I'm at right now in my life. Short form, nobody has the attention span of like, let alone 20 minutes, let alone even 45 and over. So I personally don't have that attention span. Am I working really hard to get to that? Oh, yeah. I think I need to just like tell my ADHD girl it's not the time. But part one, October and November, my reflections was just like so much family issues that had to be resolved. And it was triggering like the younger self in me to the point where I was just like really drained and emotional about it. And that's why we have therapy. Did I tell any of my friends this? Absolutely not. Because they're like, I'm a big believer that your friends are for fun and adventure and, being vulnerable. But like, when it comes to serious shit, like, I need to keep that business. Like, you got to not tell people your business all the time. And I feel like that's what therapy really is for. Like, really getting into it, your actual business, like your actual issues in life and whatnot. So I had my therapy session on Monday, this past Monday. I'm recording Friday, so this Monday. And I just like started crying and sobbing. I was like, dude, like, I can't even remember what has happened. Like, I know it was very stressful. October and November was very stressful for me, yet I don't remember any of it because it was just that stressful. I blocked it out completely. But all I know that the common denominator was dealing with family, and it was just like triggering the younger self in me that I've been through. And I was just like, this is literally so fucking awful. Like, I don't even want to celebrate holidays with y'all right now. I don't even want to like look at y'all right now. I'm done. I'm just done for real. And it has tested me in new ways. I was just like, bro, like, does it get better? Like, it was giving like, booking that one way to New York doesn't sound so bad right now. Draining my entire life savings and moving to New York to run away doesn't sound too bad right now. So yeah, it brought up triggers that I didn't even know I still had. And I was like, damn, girl, it feels like 10 years later, I'm still in that spot and it doesn't feel great. Or at least, like, not in that same spot, but like you're having the same emotions that you've dealt with in the past. Like I said, nobody prepares you for the day or age you have to like parent your parents. But when that day comes, it's going to be so shocking. And I really hope that at least somebody in your life will prepare you, because nobody prepared me. Nobody did. So it's so crucial to honestly just sit with yourself and be like, I don't have to sit through this if I don't want to. Putting your foot down. That's why I'm calling this episode You're Your Own Person, because you are your own individual. Like, this is what part 1 is about. Like, you are your own individual, right? And dealing with family and just familial issues, it's like it will drain you to a new level. Like, it will drain you so bad. And that's why I keep remembering, and that's why I titled this episode You're Your Own Person, because you are your own person once you honestly just get older. I feel like once you become like independent in whatever way that is, or your brain fully drops that frontal lobe inside your body, it's just a chef's kiss. Ever since my frontal lobe developed, it's just been chef's kiss from there. But when I say that you're your own person in regards to your obligations, I'm not saying that from a selfish point of view. I'm saying that, like, actually, you know what? I'm lying. You are being selfish. And I think that more people should be like selfish, because at some point it gets to a point where you're like, I can't be there for everybody at the same time. It just isn't normal. It's not, it's like you're asking a lot of a person to do that. And what this part 1 taught me of October and November dealing with family and whatnot is that there's the conversation to ask. Or not ask, really tell myself first, I am my own person. And on top of that, the balance of career and oneself, that seems to be impossible. So I originally was going to title this episode The Impossible Balance of Your Career and Self, but I changed it because they kind of go hand in hand. I just didn't want it to be that long either. So I put it as You're Your Own Person, because when you are your own person, you do have your own obligations as you get older. Whether you're married or not, whether you have children or not, I don't know why people preach this ideology like, oh, single people do not have obligations. Girl, are you serious? Are you actually mentally unwell and stupid? Because I think you are. I think that people need to stop playing the struggle game of like, oh, I have kids and a family and a marriage to take care of. What do you have as a single person? It's like, just because I don't take care of a child and I'm married does not mean my life is less busy and or important. I know a lot of single people that have a lot of obligations. Hello, bills, by the way. Yeah. And I saw a video a while ago that was of this woman. She was like, look, I'm not saying I want a partner just for like the love aspect. I would love that in my life. But at the same time, a lot of people that are partnered up or married or just with somebody for a long time often forget that us single people have to do everything and pay everything by yourself. Like, you have to pay like rent if you don't have a roommate by yourself. You have to, if you don't have children but you have pets, you have to pay for their food and expenses and like good toys and stuff like that on your own dime. I know a lot of people that live by themselves and they're paying, and once again, I live in Los Angeles County. I know for a fact they pay Los Angeles County like rent and bills, by the way. So my thing is, it's like you're your own person, and I don't think that anybody has to deal with like other issues. It's like when you're an adult, you spend time with your family a little bit less. You have other obligations to tend to. And ever since my therapist told me, like, once you get older and once you just develop and you have your own obligations, your own life, your own job, your own income and whatnot, you often don't really talk or be interactive with your family because you're busy. Like, you have your own life to worry about. And same with like people that do get married and have children. It's like, yeah, like they're forming their own families as they should, but it's like it's really hard to like keep in touch with them because hello, they're in their own world. And the best example I have of something I'm explaining to you guys right now is like when, for my Sex and the City fans, when Carrie is hanging out with her friend that recently got married and had children. Like she's in New York, she lives in New York, and she meets up with a friend and they recently got married, recently had kids, they went to the baby shower, all that. And then Carrie is single and she's childless and whatnot in this scenario. And then she goes to this baby shower for her friend and she leaves her shoes because it was like shoes off type of party, shoes off for the baby shower. And at the end of the night she couldn't find her shoes, and then throughout the whole episode it's just this married woman with kids, like her married friend with kids and a husband, versus Carrie being like, okay, well, you lost my shoes at your house and I'm telling you because you want to pay me back partially for me losing my shoes at my own party, or at your own party in your own house, which was kind of your responsibility. And you're criticizing my spending habits because I don't spend it on diapers and kids and a marriage and bills and a mortgage and whatnot, which is a really good example. Like, I love that episode of Sex and the City. Truly, it's one of the greatest. It's very timeless. I feel like it's a very common ideology that people still go through to this day. Like once you meet your married friends, they have kids and all that stuff, they like often forget that, oh, I was single once. It's like, girl, we pay for everything ourselves. Like I pay for all of my own expenses. It's very annoying every now and then. It's like very frustrating. It's like, oh, awesome. Awesome. Right. My gym membership, my class pass membership, which I also upgraded because I wanted more credits, and it actually is going to save me a lot of money, but still. And I want to look at, oh, I'm in a dance crew now, or a dance what's it called, company now. That's also expensive. And on top of that, just overall, when does it end, you know? But like you tell these things to like somebody that's married and has kids, they're like, oh well, wait until you have real expenses. Like I have children. I'm like, girl, I don't give a shit about your child. Like I really don't. Nobody told you to have them. So don't be doing a lot of this and bitching and moaning and complaining about it because I don't want to hear it. Trust. And I can assure you, single people that are choosing not to do that life like me do not want to hear it either. So there's that. But it brings me to that conversation of like, you're your own person, and balancing your career and your choices in your career and yourself are very different and they seem very impossible, which leads me to part 2 of this episode, which is going to be listening to Rosalia's new album and her press tour on it. So, for those who don't know, Rosalia decided to bring music back, and she brought music back in the best way. Yeah. If you haven't listened to her album Lux, no, is this is a sponsor? Absolutely the fuck not. But I do love that new album. One of the greatest albums, dare I say, of my life. It is going to be timeless. I feel like it's going to be one of those albums that people revisit from every decade in the future. I feel like it's one of those albums that it's going to be timeless. It's going to be talked about for centuries. It's going to be a beautiful body of work that just never ages. When I pass, when the people that were there when the album dropped this November pass, and it's just going to live on forever. When Rosalia herself passes, like she has left a beautiful, beautiful album that will be studied, will be analyzed, will be just appreciated throughout time. I really am a big believer this might be the best album of all time. One of the greatest albums I've ever heard. Top 5 for me. I would also dare I say Leon Thomas's Mutt album, like the deluxe, is also on my list for top albums. There's so many like bodies of work and music that are just so beautiful and timeless. And I also want to encourage that anybody that hasn't listened to the album, Rosalia's new album Lux, please look into it. She sings in 13 different languages. And then people were like, why? And she was like, just because I want to. That's very much free will. Excellent use of free will. Nonetheless, on to the reason why this all is connected, right? You're your own person. And Rosalia, she talks about in an interview recently when she was doing the promo for this album, that there was a clip where she was being interviewed and she was talking about just how much her dedication is to music and has always been to music. She's never chosen any other career path. She's always known that music is going to be her ideal path forever. She went to college for music. She studied it. She's been in music for many years of her life. I don't know exactly when she started, but I think she was in a choir. She's from Spain, like all that good stuff. Nonetheless, she talks about in this interview how one year, the 2019 Latin Grammys, I believe, she said that she found out right before she was going to perform that her grandfather had passed away, but she couldn't go to the funeral or anything like that because she was just busy working. And I really am a firm believer that there is such thing, and like now that I think about it, many years later, as I'm an adult now, like when you learn about your parents and the sacrifices they made when you were a baby, when you were a kid, you don't really appreciate it during that time because you don't really see everything. But many years later, like my dad was never really emotionally present in my life. Like he would just financially provide, which he didn't even have to do, if I'm being honest. And he just provided finances for my family and that was it. Like he didn't really like take care of me personally. He didn't really like tend to my needs in regards to like, being a father figure, but he got the money down. Like he at least gave my family the money to provide, like to be the provider and like the financial aspect only, right? Which is honestly a big blessing to say. I know a lot of people do not have that. And it took me 23 years up until very recently. I'm 26 now. Ew, I know. Ugh. But it took me very long to like really see as an adult. I'm like, oh, now I see what you're saying. Now I see where you're coming from. And now I'm understanding why you were not there. Because, especially when you live in California, hello. Hello. Yeah, exactly. Right. So, my thing is like, it took me a long time to realize that. And I did come forward and tell my dad many years later, like, hey, I hear you. Took me 23, 24 years, but we got there nonetheless. And I say this now because with Rosalia's experience, how she was being like, yeah, I couldn't go to my grandfather's funeral. Like, I couldn't be with my family during that time. And she said in very many recent interview clips of her new album, being like, yeah, like I choose music every time. This is my life. This is my career. And I know that really frustrates a lot of my family. I know that this is like a career that I chose and it's something I'm going to choose every time, but I know it impacts my life. It impacts my family. I want to be there for them all the time. And it came from like a place like, I know that my loved ones I know that my loved ones know that I wish I could be there for them in the times that they want me to be. But I'm busy with my obligations and music and being super immersed in what I do. And the reason I use these examples from like Rosalia herself is because she is very much immersed in her career. I don't think I've ever seen another artist like as of right now so fully immersed and really took so much time to make an album that took what felt like a lifetime. And the reason I say this is because in another clip of these interviews, she spent over a year just making lyrics, just making the actual lyrics for this album. And like her label was, or like her people that helped produce the album, her producers and stuff, they were like, yo, like we need you in this studio, bro. Like we need you to make some beat, like we need to make music. She's like, no, I'm still in isolation. The lyrics are so incredibly important to me. And I'm going to sit here and I'm going to make music. I'm going to make lyrics and I will come to you when I'm ready. That to me is putting your foot down. That is what being your own person is. Because to me, I have these, as I'm getting older, I'm like, I don't want to celebrate birthdays all the time. As lovely as that is, like, I don't want to celebrate birthdays all the time. I don't want to always take time out of my day to go be with somebody like friend, loved ones, etc. Not because I don't want to be, but because I really want to immerse myself in getting myself off the ground. I want to take my time in my life to pound that pavement, I guess you can say. Pound the pavement, work hard, get up and get that bread type shit. You know, that ideology of like, oh, getting money, getting better, doing better for yourself. And there's that fine line of like, okay, I want to be the best version of myself in whatever it is that I do, but I also have that fine line that it's gonna require me sacrificing being there for my friends, my family, and loved ones in my life because I have to be immersed in myself to do this, to get better at something. And I say this a lot because there's also that conversation right now of women wanting to be just caretakers. They don't want to have a job or anything. And I've seen that growing up being like the worst thing you can do for yourself. And I am fearful because it really saddens me when, like, I don't really know how to describe it. Like, it just saddens me when women have goals and ambitions for themselves. Then they find a man that wants to be, their provider and whatever. And then they retire their woman or they give her an allowance and stuff. But She has to do the cooking and cleaning, which takes a lot of the day, by the way. I don't know if you guys know that, but cooking and cleaning takes up at least 90% of someone's day. I really wish it wasn't so. Trust me. As somebody that does it and also is trying to like make a career for themselves, yeah, it takes up a lot of your fucking day. As sad as it is, I hate it. I think it's the worst thing ever. I think it's like literally the worst thing that you can do. But I say this because when I say that you're your own person, and I say that there's a really hard balance that seems impossible, dare I say, to balance the obligations of your loved ones and being there and showing up versus showing up for yourself and when it's time to choose yourself and your career. And that's why I'm kind of trying to get across today, because that to me is where I'm at in my life right now. I wish I could be at every function. I wish I could, not have the FOMO. I wish I didn't have FOMO sometimes. But at the same time, it's like you never know, if you go out that one night you didn't want to go out, you meet people that can change your life career wise. You just don't know. But other times you go out and you want to be with your family and stuff because there's an obligation to attend to, a family party, a family event, a family birthday, whatever it is, and you kind of have to choose yourself, because what if you have a meeting that could change your life that day, that very exact time? You just never know these things. And that's why I'm saying right now, like the inspo from Rosalia from her album is because she chose to choose her music, her career, to develop it, to fine tune everything, to kind of isolate herself, go off the grid for a moment and just be like, no, today is about music. My life is about music, my career. What am I talking about right now? What is the message for this album going to be? And I, I just like, I don't, that's all I can really say, really. Like, then I have part three as to like, why does this info all matter? Like, how does this all tie together? Which I kind of briefly mentioned. How does it all connect, right? When I was going through this stressful time with my family in October into like November, these past few weeks, it has taught me that there will be times that you do have to put your own goals and aspirations first. There will be times where you have to put your foot down and be like, nah, sorry, I can't do this birthday thing. I can't go to this family event. I can't deal with your family problems and shit right now. I have to focus on getting myself off the ground. I need to focus on getting this bread. I do need to focus on being a better person and like bettering my career and seeing where that takes me, whatever that looks like for you. It doesn't have to necessarily be a creative field. It can just simply be being a better lawyer, being a better doctor, etc. It doesn't always have to be something creative, even though I'm an individual that's very creative myself. But it's like there are people that have real life jobs. Like there are nurses out there, there are doctors, there are surgeons. Like there are real people that have real life jobs. Like they have real obligations. Like mine is just a silly made up career that I love, and I couldn't be more grateful for it. But my thing is like, how does this all connect? How does, you being your own person and choosing yourself all connect? And is it always selfish? And I don't want to come off as selfish. And the answer to that, in my opinion, is like, the reason I titled this episode You're Your Own Person is because you do have to be selfish sometimes. You will disappoint people in your life at some point, and they might tear your ass apart for it. They may completely cut you off. They might completely never speak to you again. Or maybe they'll be understanding and empathetic. You just never know what you're going to get from people. But at the same time, it's like when you're not showing up, it is a very valuable reason for somebody to not want to be friends with you, not want to be in your family anymore. That I can understand, but it's also like that conversation I bring up, the center, that fine line that seems to be impossible. Balancing your career, balancing choosing your career and your aspirations to be a better career individual versus oneself. Like what needs are you denying yourself, Like this past week, I haven't even been able to clean like I usually do once a week because I've been so busy and I've been so stressed and I've just been so drained. I'm upset because I'm like, I always make time to do this once a week, every Monday, clean my bathroom, clean my room, clean just like whatever like needs to be deeply cleaned and attended to. And I couldn't do that, and it made me very upset. I was like, this is so important to me that I do this because it gives me a sense of structure, it gives me a sense of routine, it gives me a sense of dedication, it gives me a sense of like I'm doing something good for this day and taking time out of my day to really tidy up my space to like make sure it looks presentable to me, and also doing it on a Monday so I can start the week off looking really clean and sleek for the rest of the week, you know? And you can't really do that if you have kids to attend to, if you have a partner to attend to, if you have family obligations to attend to. It's like at a certain point, you have to put your foot down and say, I'm my own individual. I am my own person that has my own goals, and I will never get there if I have to attend to every single person but myself and but my career. And nobody ever seems to respect that. I feel like growing up, nobody really respected what I had to do in regards to like my career shit. Nobody ever took it seriously. And there were moments where I chose to not prioritize it and I just thought it was okay. And then people would walk all over, and that's my fault. I wouldn't like put my foot down. I wouldn't be like, hey, actually, this is really important to me. And no, I can't miss this. Like the day you're asking me to be there, I have this obligation at this same time that you're having your thing. And I can't miss this. I'm so sorry. Like I can't. This is important to me and I value this. This is my life. I am once again being paid to be somewhere, or I am once again, what's it called, paying to be somewhere, and I can't miss something like this, you know, especially if it's an opportunity of a lifetime. You never know if it can change your life. You never know, and that's why I kind of name this like you're your own person, because you just never know when your life can change on a dime, and it can be a really good thing, or it also can be really bad. You never know, but nonetheless, y'all. I will end with this note. Ever since I've mentioned this a couple episodes, I don't know which ones nor how many episodes ago, but I've mentioned very few times sporadically in my podcast that there's this quote from this one woman. I don't know if she invented the quote herself, but there's this woman that I follow on IG. Her name is King Sophie World, and she's based in the UK, and she makes art, of course, but she makes like pin style art, like when you do like pin, I don't know what it's called, like the formal word for it, where you like do stitching and like you do it on like fabric and whatnot. It's not clothing, it's like more so like just stitch art, I guess you can say. I know there's a way more official term and I can't remember it off the top of my head, but I have mentioned it before. And she has this lovely art piece that if it ever becomes like for sale, I'm buying that shit. It's like the image is like on the stitch is like a stitch of a canvas, right? And it has like an easel. It's like on an easel and whatnot. And then the art painting in the stitch, it says, "You inspire me to be nothing like you." And that's what I will leave you all with today. There are people in your life that you should always be inspired to never be like. Kind of essentially, and ask your question, what would that person not do in my position? Because I'm not going to lie to you, that has been my motto for quite some time, and it has helped. Like, do the opposite of what the people in your life inspired you to never do. If you're not inspired by the people that, you know, like let's say you have a family member that is like truly the most negative, most horrible, has made horrible life decisions, has made horrible financial decisions. First of all, never take their advice. Let's start there. But on second of all, when you're having a day where you're having a similar situation that they've been in before, think, what would this X, Y, and Z person not do? And then do the opposite. Do what they wouldn't do. Do what they wouldn't dare to try. That has been the best advice and lesson I've learned recently in my life, where, okay, these people in my life that I know inspire me to be nothing like them. If I were in this same predicament that they're in, which first of all, I wouldn't be, so let's start there. But if I'm presented the same decisions and or the same situation, what would they not do? And lead with that. I promise you, it opens a whole new lens to how you see your life. If you have somebody in your life, like a friend that you're consider cutting off, that they keep going back to that person that they should not be with, they should not ever be with, they know better and they still choose to go back for more, they still choose to go to that person. And if you're ever presented with that opportunity in the future, or not opportunity, like tragedy, if you will, in the future, that you're presented by somebody that is not good for you, is not good for you, and does not do anything in your favor, is not there for you, doesn't care about you, doesn't care if you live or die, and you think of like, well, my friend that I'm no longer friends with was in that position. What would she not do? What would he not do? What would they not do? And then leave or do whatever it is. Learn. Learn from the people you do not want to be. Because I promise you, it opens a whole new lens of life. It opens a whole new observational lens for me. At least for me, it works. Not everybody is like that. But for me, I'm inspired to be nothing like some people. and I never take their advice. I never learn from them, and I don't want to. We are our own individuals with our own minds, with our own individuality, our own hobbies, our own desires, our own goals, our own careers, our own self. And just never be inspired by somebody that just doesn't do it for you. So, with that being said, y'all, that's all I have for today. I do apologize if one, nothing made sense, because I don't know if any of this made sense. I never know when it comes to any episode. And two, at the same time, it just hasn't been my week, y'all. I just didn't want to miss. Like, I didn't want to go 2 weeks, I didn't want to go 2 weeks. So, with that being said, y'all, I will see you guys in the next episode. Hopefully, a little more cheery, hopefully, a little more happier, uplifted. But, I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to like fake it. I'm not going to fake it the funk with y'all. I'm not going to like, fake it all and be like, oh, like life has been so good recently. I'm like, girl, I'm not gonna fake the funk like that. I'm not gonna fake the funk like that. I'm not. That'd be totally fake and that'd be totally not real. But with that being said, y'all, I hope you guys also, it's raining in Los Angeles, so if you live in LA, please stay safe. I know that my fellow Angelinos, we really cannot drive in rain, and I know that because I tried driving in rain last night and I hated it. And it's really hard to see on the freeway. So please be careful. Please be very mindful of where you go, where you drive, and be aware of your surroundings. Nonetheless, all of y'all, please take care of yourselves. We are entering holiday season. We will touch base on that at some point because holiday season are not my favorite anymore these days, especially more than ever. But nonetheless, y'all, please take care of yourselves. Please do something for yourself today. Tend to your career and make sure that you're happy. Check in with yourself, clean up your space. I don't know, y'all, just do whatever it is that you just do something for yourself today. And if not, tomorrow and every day after that. As long as you do one thing for yourself every day, that's all you need. But with that being said, y'all, I will see you guys in the next episode. And I hope you guys are taking care of yourselves, staying healthy. And I don't know, y'all, just prep for the holidays. We're almost at the end of the year. So we're almost at the end of Trump's first term this year. So hopefully it flies by, and I'm not ready for this year to end. It feels like it's been a lifetime. But y'all, please take care of yourselves. Please be safe and stay warm if you live in a colder weather. And just don't get sick, y'all. It's that season. So yeah. With that being said, love you all, and please take care of yourselves. Bye.